Rama Rama Hari Hari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hari Hari Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hari Hari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna. You know, I just want to tell you something. Some revelation I'm getting. By the way, you know, anybody I chastise, try not to misunderstand, which is very easy to do here. Anybody I criticized, you know, is usually actually a magnanimous person. Is actually is pretty, you know, powerful person, personalities, you know, but just not powerful enough because there's a little stuff left over, and it's like in River, she really made a nice video about the false ego. It's really good. Everybody should see that, man, because it's like how it is. You cannot believe some of the stuff that that comes from outside of that realm to crack that egg. It's like it's like an egg. Everybody is encased in the false ego, false identification, very subtly, all the way up to the snake obstacle. You know, it's a kind of an encasing of the soul. Wants to imitate even goodness. Wants to imitate pure goodness. You know, so I'm coming along cracking all the way. And it's just like, you know, River was reading about the fight between, the mock fight between Advaita and Acharya and Nityananda. And Advaita took the part of a Brahmin who follows the Smriti and Smruti rules and regulations, you know, these kind of mundane, you know, stuff that Brahmins do. And he says, "You, Nityananda, you are by nature a madman. You had no fear of destroying a Brahmin. No fear of criticizing a Brahmin, stuff like that. No fear. See, because people fear. And you know, most persons, you know, at best here, they're like Brahminical level or maybe some liberation level. As Vaishnavas, you know, there's still false ego encasement in there. You still don't understand. We read that even the demigods, they have a hard time understanding the Shuddha Bhakti, man. It's inconceivable and incomprehensible. For it to even be preached in this world seems like absolute madness. See? And Nityananda's out there destroying Brahmins, destroying their mentality, cracking that false ego open, you know. You have no fear of destroying a Brahmin, you know. You've turned me into a madman also. See, this is the Lord Chaitanya and his associates, you know, they're just very rarely seen. You know, Vishnu Dutas are very rarely seen, right? Yamaraj said, oh, these Vishnu Dutas are very rarely seen. But the associates of the Lord, well, it's so much more than that. The associates of Lord Chaitanya, Vishnu Dutas are from Vaikuntha. But the associates of Lord Chaitanya, oh, if one of them's here preaching, man, watch out. Sets fire, you know, sets fire to Ravana's kingdom, which is everywhere, man. Sets fire to it, man. Yeah, this is like the poem of Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur. Said the associates of the Lord, Lord Chaitanya, they were such an ecstatic worship. They paid no attention to the demigods. They just poo-pooed them. You know, who are you guys? Yeah. So people see, and the false ego, just to give you a little heads up on this, false ego does not want to die, you know, and thinks, and when you humiliate it, see, the only way, usually the only way is that a person can move to the next step beyond the false ego. The false ego has to be humiliated. See, humiliated. And humiliation is a potency that turns into true humility. And that's what, see, Daksha was humiliated. See, he identified himself, as being like a real devotee, really, like the highest level and really there and everything. But he got humiliated by Shiva. Okay? It was a horrible thing. All the demigods shamed, they shamed. They showed they didn't really have the real truth. They thought they did. Okay? So ultimately, that false ego died. That's in the story. They all died. Was basically the false ego died, and they were resurrected. Okay? Resurrected by the grace of Shiva. You see, this resurrection thing is actually that Jesus was into. This resurrecting into the real ego identification of servant of the spiritual Lord in his spiritual potency form. See, it's like completely a new birth, man. It's a new birth. For Vaishnavas, they're all encased, practically all of them, encased in this shell of the false ego. Okay? When it starts to crack, it's like, sets fire to the world. And that's when the deliverance is here, that's what's happening. And I just want to tell people that may, see, because the false ego doesn't like this humiliation and thinks it's, all this. You might be surprised who's coming back now, or on the process of coming back. So don't hold anything against anybody I've chastised, because you don't understand. It's not about that. They've earned their place in the Bhagavatam. See? You got to understand, at least through knowledge, that for anybody I said anything about or anything like that, when they come back, don't hold any of it against them, because anybody who's chastised by the Lord or his devotees, his actual associates, is very fortunate and is very dear to the Lord. That's why they get the chastisement. If they were not important, the Lord doesn't give them anything. He just pays them no mind. And just cheats them in that way. See? But anybody where there's some very deep work going on, it's important. So all these. So, anybody I went down on in here or outside or anything, hey man, this is great. You earned your place in the Bhagavatam. That's it. Look at Daksha. You think Daksha feels bad about his place there? Hey man, that's how we learned about the absolute truth. He was a very important player in this in this thing. How do we learn about Putana and all that? We actually have actual examples of persons under that false ego, and they can't see it. Putana could not see she was under that energy. So many people are under the Putana energy. Persons that are misleading and being misled, their Putana is still that, that level. And so we've discerned that to help so many millions of people, that would never get on top of that, and they're always under it. See, the Lord and his devotees are over that. See, but it has to be discerned out here clearly. People are under it. See? People are worshiping the false acharyas and false gurus, and even here we get people up to this Putana layer, and they think this is it, and all this, and they act like her. They can't help it. They're caught in. They really believe that. See? So anyway, my job is to help devotees get on top of that. So that's what's happening here. So don't be feel like shamed and all that. Hey man, that's first. Sometimes humiliation goes to real true humbleness. Like Daksha, he had a goat head. And he felt that just is a symbol of a devotee. It's like you really feel like it's okay to be a fool. Like, Johann, see, it's okay to be, he's a fool, but look what comes through that fool. Great stuff. Exactly. She didn't know. Just like, how do you know she didn't know? You see our living examples. Do they know? No, they think they're totally right, you know? You know, there's these false acharya, they're actually false acharya. They look like real devotees, they look pukka and everything. They're still under Putana. I'm going right after that, you know, to help the devotees that are there. These are the lines, the Putana lines, man. They can't help it, they're just under it, and only somebody stronger, it's like Jesus said, oh, strong. See, only a stronger man can unbind a weaker one, and the Putana is not the real thing. It just looks like it, you know. It looks very good at it too. Can fools the devotees sometimes for a while. Five dogs. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Yeah, so that's how it is. Anybody shouldn't be. You got to understand, this is a very great mercy. The Lord has put you in a position to actually help many people in a way that no one else could do. So, thank you very much for your service. You should see that. Otherwise, if you don't get through this, then you're holding on to this false identification that it's a bad thing. Hey man, whatever part you play in this world is for the deliverance of the living entities is wonderful. Look at Jai and Vijay. They voluntarily, they knew they were going to get cursed by these. They actually voluntarily, they said the Lord, he needs to fight with somebody. He likes only to fight with his devotees. He only wants to, so let us be demons. He only likes to sport with his devotees. Let us be demons. So they ended up coming as demons. And the Lord, you know, was battling with his devotees. He likes that, you know. They were in the guise of demons. The same thing happens here with people in our group here. Sometimes they're powerful personalities we're attacking, cracking. Yeah. That's why people follow them. They got some potency, man, you know. The demons, they have some potency. They're the people, they can dominate the people. The demigods got some potency. They dominate the people, okay, with that. See, so, yeah. It just happens to be something stronger in this box here. You know, just a little stronger potency. It does a little...